All right, what is up, everyone? Got another team to showcase here. This is in the Ultra League, and we are running Deoxys Defense, Steelix, and Heliolisk. And I used this team to climb, I think it was 154 elo over 5 sets. I went 3-2, 3-2, 4-1, 5-0, 3-2. So all positive sets. I recorded a couple of the sets. I think I have the 4-1 and the 5-0 sets here. And so I'm going to showcase these. This team was really fun to play for me, probably really annoying for my opponents. It's a double breaking swipe team, and so you got Heliolisk and Steelix, who can both learn breaking swipe now with the move updates from this current season. And so I put them both on the same team with the Deoxys in the lead. Not a super creative team, right? I've run a few Deoxys Steelix teams in Great League and in Ultra League before. And this is my favorite one, though. This has been the most fun one. A lot of people cannot handle Heliolisk, honestly. It's kind of an amazing Pokemon in the Ultra League. It's really glassy, but it has great coverage, and Breaking Swipe allows you to debuff the opponent to kind of cover for its glassiness. So a couple notes on the side here. Heliolisk is almost always the safe swap. You swap it in to draw out their fighter or counter user if they have one. So some teams don't have a counter user at all, but if they do have a Virizion, Cobalion, something like that, you can swap in Heliolisk, debuff the thing, but also Heliolisk is so glassy that they don't get to farm a ton of energy from you. Whereas if you were to safe swap Steelix, then they're able to farm you down, come out with 100 energy at the end. So I like Heliolisk as the safe swap better for this team. Steelix is still a great safe swap in the Ultra League meta. It's awesome. I like Heliolisk for that reason of them getting less farm, less energy, and then the counter user is gone and Steelix is free to sweep end game. So that's how I like to play the team. Heliolisk as a safe swap can win a lot of interesting matchups, like Giratina Altered. The Shadow Claw variant specifically, you win all shield scenarios, all even shield scenarios. You still win the 0 and 2 shield against Dragon Breath Tina, I think. But yeah, you'd think Heliolisk with Volt Switch as the fast move, resisted by Giratina, you're not going to win that matchup, but you're resisting their Shadow Claws, and you're able to do super effective damage with Breaking Swipe and debuff them. And so the Shadow Claw variant, you have a very strong matchup against. Swampert, you actually win all shield scenarios as well if you're running Grass Knot. You don't have to run Grass Knot on Heliolisk. You can run Thunderbolt. There's a lot of games that I wish I had Thunderbolt, like when you get into Heliolisk versus Registeel, for instance. Or you're up against the Charizard and you want and shields are down and you need to nuke the thing. You can't do that with Breaking Swipe Grass Knot. But Grass Knot does give you a lot of coverage as a safe swap. So if they answer with a Swampert, for instance, you can actually beat Swampert. I don't think I saw any Swamperts in these sets. So again, there's a lot of times I wanted Thunderbolt, but I do think Grass Knot is the better move when using Heliolisk as the safe swap. So you're also able to beat Poliwrath. Poliwrath has counter, so they're doing super effective fast attack damage against you, but you're also doing super effective Volt Switches against them. So you win the 0 and the 1 shield against Poliwrath. And then Gliscor, you actually win the 2 shield by just debuffing the thing into Oblivion and then landing a Grass Knot, I believe. So Heliolisk can win some matchups that seem like they should be losses. And then the last note here on the side is just that having 2 Pokemon with Breaking Swipe allows for a lot of flexibility, right? You can swap in and out. You have 2 very bulky Pokemon with Deoxys and Steelix, as well as 2 Pokemon that can debuff the opponent. And so you can have some very dynamic plays, a lot of flexibility with the team, but also makes for some longer matches. So in Ultra League, you have a lot of bulky Pokemon, and you can end up in a timeout situation. And I think I had maybe 1 timeout match that ended there. Had like a Steelix versus Mandibuzz, something like that, where it's taken a long time to get through the match, and I was able to win it, but you just have to watch the clock. You don't really want to end up in that situation, but if you do start kind of getting to the point where the clock is ticking, Yeah, you just got to pay attention and try to make sure you have more Pokemon or more HP than the opponent. But with all that said, that's a little just introduction to the team. Let's get into the actual battles now. Going against a Galarian Wheezing, and this thing's got Overheat, Brutal Swing. I actually survived the Overheat because it's been debuffed, and it's a non-stab move. And I land another Breaking Swipe, which doesn't kill, but I'm going to bring in Steelix here because this next Overheat is triple debuffed already. So it's not going to do very much, even though it's super effective. And now they bring in a Charizard, and we can land some Breaking Swipes, and as long as we shield the Blast Burn, then we should be fine. If they bait here, they might be able to get to another Blast Burn before I knock them out. But they didn't bait, and so we're going to be able to win this one. I just go ahead and go for the swap while they're throwing a wing attack to land the Psycho Boost. And at this point, they only have a couple HP left on their back Pokemon. So GG. We throw the Thunderbolt to KO the Scrafty and wrap this battle up. Having multiple electric type moves is very strong in Ultra League meta right now. There's so many flyers and water types, so Thunderbolt Deoxys and Volt Switch Heliolisk just very strong right now. So in this next battle, we got a Virizion. We want to see Virizion in the lead because both of our Pokemon in the back are weak to fighting type moves, and so this is the best spot for it, but we also aren't able to do very effective damage with Thunderbolt, and we debuff ourselves by going Psycho Boost, so it's kind of nice that they swapped to Ampharos here. Able to resist their Volt Switches, land a Breaking Swipe to debuff them. I didn't want to get hit by a Focus Blast, though, and so I shield this, but it's Trailblaze, and they throw another move quickly, so I know this is not a Focus Blast. It's going to be Trailblaze Brutal Swing. Good move set for Ampharos as a safe swap. But at this point, I can just no-shield this, farm the thing the rest of the way down, and have a good bit of energy coming back into the Virizion. So I can throw double Breaking Swipes on this thing and severely debuff it, lower its attack pretty significantly. And then they can't really farm me down without me being able to knock them out with another move. And so I go for a catch, knowing they're about to throw a move, and I actually catch the Sacred Sword on Deoxys, and then they have their own Heliolisk in the back. So this is okay for me. This looks pretty good here. I'm just going to throw counters and Psycho Boost. I'm debuffing myself, but I just want to get off damage before they knock me out. And it seems like they're going for a full farm down, so I'm going to try to get off as much counter Psycho Boost damage as I can, and I get the thing into the red. And now I'm just going to bring in my own Heliolisk to farm theirs down and be able to come out of this with a Breaking Swipe to throw at the Virizion. So I can shield the Sacred Sword here, throw my Breaking Swipe, and then we're in a good shape here for Steelix to close out this match. The thing's debuffed, and I can just Dragon Tail this thing down if they don't throw a move. If they do throw a move, then we farm down with Heliolisk before they get to another move. And my Heliolisk is not great IVs either. It was a lucky from a lucky trade, and I think it's 12, 15, 15. So not the best IVs. I just didn't want to spend a whole lot of dust. So I just built this one to see if I actually liked it, and I'm able to win CMP matches though. So that's nice. Now this next match, they have Trevenant lead. Terrible lead for us. And I swap in Heliolisk. We're resisting their Shadow Claws. And we're double resisting their Shadow Claws because of the normal typing. They're single resisting our Volt Switches, but I'm also debuffing them. So I can live another Seed Bomb at this point, and they can't farm me down with Shadow Claws. But they bring in a Reggie. This is where it would be nice to have Thunderbolt. My Heliolisk is already pretty low. So for this particular match, it didn't really matter. It's nice to be able to debuff the thing, dip out, swap to Deoxys. So now I don't have my Deoxys against the Trevenant. I can counter and Thunderbolt this thing down. But in other matches where you end up with Heliolisk versus Reggie, it would have been real nice to have the Thunderbolt there. So in this case, because I think they just got 2 attack debuffs, this Thunderbolt and counter damage is not going to kill. They're going to be able to get to a Focus Blast or a Zap Cannon and knock me out. But it's fine. I just saved my shields for Steelix at this point. And they have a Charizard, but I'm up a shield. And they can't win that. So GG to my opponent. that was the fifth game of the first set of this yeah, this showcase. So that was the 5-0. I think the 4-1 is the next set. So I hit veteran. I got my new pants. Change into my pants. Kind of cool pants. I like them. And we're gonna get into the next set. Cobalion leads, beautiful. We love Cobalion lead, and they go to Golisopod. Golisopod's a great safe swap in Ultra League right now, so really like this pick. But I am resisting their Shadow Claws and doing super effective Volt switches, neutral Dragon Claw, breaking not Dragon Claws, breaking swipes and debuffing them, so I can actually live the second liquidation, I believe. But so they go for the they're just no shielding it, and I win the matchup. I get to keep alignment and debuff the Cobalion, and they bring in a Mandibuzz here. So I'm just gonna throw a Thunderbolt to get some chip damage or a shield. We get a shield, and now I can switch Steelix in here. And with the shield advantage, especially, we're gonna be in fine shape because one, they're running Foul Play instead of Dark Pulse, so they can't really do a lot of damage anyway, but also I got Breaking Swipe. I'm going to keep debuffing them, so these foul plays are going to do less and less, and they're probably going to try to, yeah, swap out and clear their debuff and land a move with Cobalion. So what I'm going to do here is just go straight for the Earthquake and try to do a ton of damage or get their last shield, and I'm able to do the damage, swap, catch the next Sacred Sword on Deoxys, and now I get a farm down. There's no way they win this one now. I'll be able to get to a Thunderbolt before they can KO me with Foul Plays and Snarls. So probably get their last shield here, and then whenever the next Foul Play knocks me out, then I can just come back in with Steelix, shield a move, keep debuffing them, either until we knock them out or the timer runs out. So I'll shield this one because this will do the most damage before the Breaking Swipe debuff takes effect. Oh, they actually get another one in, but it's still not going to be enough. They do make it kind of close, though, before they top left. So, yeah, just some of the bulkiest Pokemon. It was clear they were going to lose, so why waste time? All right, Shadow Dragonite lead's kind of interesting. I've played this differently. I've played these matchups differently each time, I think. Sometimes I stay in and throw a Psycho Boost first and then dip. This time I went straight to Heliolisk, and Heliolisk, like, I mean, it really is so nice that it gets rid of their... it gets their Cobalion out, draws their Cobalion out. And they don't get a ton of farm off me. They're double debuffed and halfway dead. I mean, fainted. Halfway fainted. So Heliolisk, I think, really does a great job as the safe swap here. Drawing out Steelix's hardest counters, able to beat some of them as well, or just kind of set you up for success by getting rid of the thing, debuffing it, and then freeing up Steelix to sweep the back line. So let's see what they have. I can't remember what they had in the back here. They've got... Oh, the Cobalion comes back in. They let that go. I could have just gone for an EQ, knowing they probably wouldn't shield. But they actually shield the next one to try to get off a Sacred Sword. It's double debuff now, so it won't do a ton. But in the back, they have Registeel. So I farm up to an Earthquake and go for a Breaking Swipe. And then I'm going to swap to Deoxys and try to get this thing dead. It's going to be tough because they had a good amount of energy. And even though they're debuffed, they can debuff me too with Zap Cannon. So it's going to be a race here. Going to be very close. I'm not sure how this ends up. I think what happens is they knock me out and I actually get to the next Earthquake right before they get to Focus Blast. Yeah, which is awesome, but their Cobalion had a move banked, and so I think this is the one I lost. Yeah, they had a Sacred Sword with 1 HP, and it knocks me out, and so this was my loss in the set. Very close one, though. Very close one, though. So in this next game, we got Deoxys against Politoed. Haven't seen Politoed in a while, to be honest, and it's got Blizzard, EQ... and Ice Beam now that it can learn. EQ's nerfed. They're all non-stab moves, and Politoed is a more defense-oriented, bulky Pokemon, so not a high attack stat. So I'm just going to stay in here, take the moves, keep throwing counters, keep throwing thunderbolts, and I got both of their shields already, so in a great spot. This is where you want to see a Politoed too. You don't really want it against the Steelix or the Heliolisk. Heliolisk can do super effective Volt switches, but Heliolisk, again, being a glassy Pokemon, taking super effective Mud Shots, neutral Weather Balls, they'd add up really quickly. So they bring in a Charm A9. This looks like an Ultra League team from like 7 seasons ago. But we debuff it, and then we're going to get off a Grass Knot here to do a good chunk of damage. I don't know if maybe I would have made it to 2 Grass Knots without the debuff, and I could have just knocked the thing out. So, kind of questionable play there. I didn't really know how to play it, but the thing's single debuff, now it's double debuffed, so I'm not going to shield this Weather Ball, and we're just going to save our shields for whatever they have in the back. It's a Mandibuzz. At this point, we both have 2 Pokemon. Our second Pokemon, our main ones that are battling right now have a lot of health, but our second Pokemon each have like 1 HP. Actually, their Politoed has a little bit more. Their Politoed has more than my Deoxys, so I was kind of wondering if they were going to just try to win via timeout. But they actually swap Politoed in, which is really nice because I can farm it completely down, and now I can win via timeout if I need to. I've still got my 2 Pokemon with health on them, and I can keep debuffing them. So it is a Dark Pulse Mandy though, so I really need to get these debuffs in so that I can survive as long as possible. But you can see the clock ticking down there. I think as long as I land this Breaking Swipe, I can survive the next Dark Pulse, and then the timer is up, and we win because we have, 2 Pokemon to their 1. So, not my favorite types of games that end in a timeout, but sometimes got to do what you got to do, and that was my win condition there. So, this is fun. This battle, my opponent's got a Skeledirge. I love Skeledirge. Released a video on it recently. Had a lot of fun running that Pokemon, but it's very bad for me running a Deoxys lead, so I safe swapped to my Heliolisk, and I know that they're probably running the normal moveset of Disarming Voice Shadow Ball, so they're not able to hit me with a Shadow Ball. It's going to be double resisted. They got to throw non-stab Disarming Voices. So we're able to get into a great spot by the Skeledirge is just about gone, which is good for my Deoxys. And now I can bring Steelix in against the D-Knight. They do bait with a Dragon Claw, though. And so I'm going to throw a Breaking Swipe here and force their other shield. And then I can swap to Deoxys and catch a debuffed Superpower or Dragon Claw. Actually catch the Superpower, which is nice. And I can farm this thing all the way down. So if Skeledirge comes back in, I had a move loaded for it, but it's an Air Slash Mandy. So we're in great shape. Skeledirge is basically dead. Air Slash Mandy, charging pretty slowly to its moves. The Psycho Boost takes this thing out, and now at this point, I just put Steelix against Mandy, and we win. So, GG, bad lead, but won the game. Okay, Pidgeot lead. This one, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because they had Virizion as an answer to my Heliolisk, and so I was guessing it was Cobalion in the back. Pidgeot double fighter, kind of a common team, pretty strong team in Ultra League. And so I was like, man, I don't think I win this. I can't flip it around. They're going to end up with Cobalion on my Steelix. Maybe if I get shields down, I can land an Earthquake. But I wasn't sure how this was going to go. But they're double debuffed at this point from Heliolisk. And so what I'm going to do now is just farm the thing all the way down with counter and just take all these Leaf Blades. And they actually hard swap into this Drapion, which is really good for me. It's not double fighter, right? And I'm just going to stay in here, throw another Thunderbolt, and then I've got Steelix, and they've got a Poison type and a Flyer. So we're golden here. Just swap into my Steelix and start shielding their moves. The only problem is they've got all 3 Pokemon still, and if they wanted to, since I only have 2 Pokemon, they could try to go for the timeout win here by just going Feather Dance, Feather Dance, Feather Dance, right? And keeping all 3 Pokemon alive. I'm not sure if they can actually get get that off before, they die to the breaking swipe and dragon tail damage, but it seems like that's what they're going for here. So what I do is I want to clear the debuff and get off some moves here quickly before another debuff goes through from another Feather Dance, but they actually throw a Brave Bird here, and it was a CMP tie, so this is really nice. This basically allowed me to win the game. They swap out, I knock out their other Pokemon, and they know they can't come back from that. So, yeah, overall, man, loved this team. Went, what was it, 18-7 overall. Climbed up to 25-56 here, and then after this, I think I had another 3-2 set. So it took me up to 25-71, a total of 154 elo gained with this team in 5 sets. As I said earlier, a lot of fun for me to run, but probably really annoying for my opponents who are just having to deal with the constant breaking swipe spam and getting debuffed. But let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the team, the battles. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day.